Hey everyone, welcome back to Factorio Modded. I'm your host, Board Bob. So the last time I said I was gonna go ahead and finish concreting this all in, and getting the substations all set up and whatnot. And here we go. So that's all done, as you can see. One thing I did is I went back. Now that I got all the substations in, I went back and I repositioned all my roboports. And my intention was to try and set it up so that the roboports corresponded with some of the substations and what have you. So I set up, the roboport grid and the substation grid, and what I noticed is that the roboports um, do not tile the same as the substations. I mean, obviously they would be, there's a distance. For instance, 4 substations here to 2 roboports. But when you start to lay them out, you start to get off by 1 or 2 spaces each roboport. So by the time you're if you start over there, you're over here, we're in the middle of the substations. I really kind of wish in a way that they tiled equally, if you will, so that if I put this substation here, or I put this roboport here, that this roboport would end up here. That way you didn't have kind of this randomness to it when you were laying things out. They would kind of lay together better, so you wouldn't have to adjust things to fit, as it were. But life is life, and that's the way it goes, and tough stuff, right? I haven't put subs down here yet because we're still clearing out all this iron and I wanted to properly do it. But we got all of this area here. This is the area that I'm going to turn into a smelting area. Is my plan. And this is we're gonna smelt iron here. We're gonna smelt copper here, and we're probably gonna smelt steel here. So I want to go ahead and in this episode we're going to start setting this up. One thing I'm going to go up here and look at, I just noticed, I thought, yeah, okay, there's a gap there. There's the poles go around. I was looking at the map and I was looking at the there's a break here in the system, and it's because this one substation is actually down lower than the other ones. So I'm gonna right quick fix that, and there we go. That's the nice thing about the being able to pull up the map and look at your electrical network and stuff. You can see where where your breaks are, where things aren't the way they should be, what have you, and you can look and see if you've got redundant lines in case something gets destroyed. While we're on the map, let's take a look also. As you can see, this whole Project Alamo radar stations is definitely working out well. We're really kind of clearing the map out and opening it up. I mean, we got this one space here and some of these smaller spaces that I'd like to open up. We'll get down here at some point and put a couple of radar in here and open this up, and a couple of radar here and open this up. Just really want to kind of open this map up so that we can just make plans and decide where we want to go. So anyway, so this time around, with regards to my furnaces and my smelting operation, I want to kind of play around a little bit. I want to look at possible idea I had, and just kind of play with the thought process of it. This over here is basically what I've been doing traditionally. I've been doing something similar to this, where you got 2 lines coming down. You got your furnaces on either side, etc., etc. The basic startup smelting operation. And then I started doing this, which is pretty similar to what Joe Mama does, and I wanted to try it out. It seems to work pretty well. And for an intermediate level of production. It's you know, it's doing pretty good. But as you can see, you know, now I don't mind you, I don't have uh, any speed modules in the copper, but I do have them in the iron, so it's running a little better. But even this is a little slow, even with speed module 3s. So I wanted to start doing something that I've never really messed with before, and that is beacons. I've never really had a use for them. Not that I dislike them or anything. I've just never used them simply by virtue of the fact that uh, I just haven't. I don't know why, but I wanted to try and play around with something here, and I kind of scratched my head about this and whatnot. And what I'm thinking I'd like to do is I'd like to turn around and have my furnaces in a row like so, and then have my beacons run down both sides. Oops. Kind of like, you know, something along these lines, to where they overlap, you know, and we've got beacons on each of these. The problem is, how do I feed them? And how do I bring iron in? How do I you know, ore in? How do I bring iron back out? So I need either space between the beacons or space between the furnaces to do that. And I want it to be somewhat tileable, so I want to be able to take, you know, and extend it this way, or maybe beacon, you know, extend it this way and have beacons between them, you know, kind of like this kind of thing here, and then beacons, and then, you know, so that's kind of what I'd like to do, is something along those lines. And I'd like it to be scalable so that I can just, you know, continue to build upon what I have as I get more, or as I need more. I mean, the truth of the matter is that at this point in our main base, we could finish the game with what we have in our main base. I mean, that you know, we could do all the research, we could launch a rocket, what have you. But this time around, I want to just build. I want to grow bigger and bigger and bigger and take over the world, as it were. Not that we can, because, you know, it's an infinite map. But yeah, let's go ahead and get some research started. So anyway, so that's my thought process. So if I do a line and I do the beacons, where'd my beacons go? And I do the beacons side by side, right? And I do something like that. I have to figure out a way to get my ore into the furnaces and out of the furnaces. So what I was thinking I might do is this. If I were to come up through here with belts, with underground belts, maybe I could have it insert into the furnace and then come out of the furnace and do a belt in and a belt out, and put the belts between the furnaces. So it would be kind of like this: 1, 2 spaces. So that's 3 spaces. So come on. So we got 1, 2, 3 spaces. Okay, so what we could do for the future is if we're trying to space these out properly, we can do this and then go back and take out the middle ones. There we go. So yeah, so because these do take up 3, so there we go. So now, how the question becomes, can I effectively run this up like this, and then, you know, continue on up or down or whatever, and have these guys put in, right? And then these guys, oops, wrong spot. These guys take out like this, because we know we can drop them on, you know, on the belts. And then at the very last one, of course, we do this, right? And that brings it in and out. So that's kind of what my thinking is. Now on iron plates, it doesn't really give us much. So it's 3.5 seconds per, right? And it's 1 iron ore is 1 plate. So it's a 1-for-1 thing. So I guess 1 input and 1 output is probably enough. But then if we've got steel plates, you need 5 iron plates for 1 steel plate. So if I want to do this whole thing and have it be the same blueprint all the time, if I did 2 lines in, like that, and wherever this last one is, of course I don't need this last set of belts here necessarily. I could do, or undergrounds rather, I could just do belts on all 3 of these, provided they're in the right direction, and just do that. And then I was thinking I could do that, because then that doubles it up as far as the input, and that's going to help us with our steel. So then that should give us, you know, the maximum amount of coverage we can have on a furnace. So for this furnace, for example, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 beacons that are affecting that one furnace. And if we stack them side by side like this in rows, now we had to figure out how long we can go before the throughput on these belts is eliminated by the sucking off of the furnaces at each stage, and we could make it as long as these belts would carry it, and then from there we could go 1 to 2 to 3, you know, side to side to side. So this, and then that would allow us, come on, to then do this and put, oops, you know what, let's do it the easy way. Alright, there we go. Then we could do that, and then we could do this. Right? So that's kind of what I was thinking. Something like that. Because then if we had, say, you know, this is our output. These are our inputs. Let's try this. Let's try this out. Let's go down here, right? And that'll be our inputs. And then this will be our outputs. And let's put some chests here. Right? And then that'll take our supply off of our return. And then if we did that, right, that would give us the ability to see how this functions. So let's go over here, and grab some iron ore. We're already starting to get holes in our iron ore supply. So we're going to be wearing this one out soon, which means we're going to be, that's okay. That just means we're going to be trucking in more iron from other places, which is the whole point of this. Because with this much space, we can build a huge array of these furnaces and a huge storage area and multiple train stops. So let's try this. Let's put half in there and half in there. And let's, you know what, let's do this even. Because these are in chests, it takes, stack inserters takes out of chests. I did some reading. According to the reading, stack inserters are faster than fast inserters. Even though a stack inserter has to pick up off of the belt, it's faster because it doesn't have to swing the arm as often. Even with pulling off a belt. At least that's what I read on the wiki. I've not sit down and timed it, but you know, in looking at it, that seems to be the case. But out of chests, it picks up. It's definitely faster. It picks up entire stacks all at once and puts them on the belt. So, from a standpoint of speed, coming out of a chest at the very least, stack inserters are your faster way to go. So let's plop these down and see. Wow, and we're already getting back. Okay, so with this being jammed up here, we know we can go further up because you know, we're not we've saturated the belt. It can't go any further than what it is. So how many do we still got a fair amount back. All right, so let's do this. Let's extend it out some. So what we need to do is we're going to need to remove these belts here. Well, actually, yeah, we're going to need to remove those belts there, because what we're going to do is we will copy this. I think should be enough, right? If we copy that, that should allow us to theoretically tile this because and be able to go up, right? Why is that not lining up? Oh, because it's the wrong place. And that should allow us to yeah. Right? Now let's see if that's going to give us, and once we got to the end, we could even put one here once we knew how far we could go on this. So let's remove these undergrounds. Not that undergrounds won't work, but it's going to be easier to see just how stacked up the iron gets if we do it that way. And let's go ahead and put down our stack inserters again. And let's head up here and see if it makes it all the way up. Let's see how far up it makes it before we... Oh, we don't have... Alright. My bad. Let's do this first. Where was it? It's right here. We don't have our belts linking linking them up like we're supposed to. My bad. Alright, looks like we're ready. I think it's all... We got belts, underground, 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 underground. Okay. So now let's see how far up it carries the iron before we reach a point. Oh, did we run out of iron? Okay, fine. Let's go grab some more iron ore. I just want to test and see how far the iron ore will go. Give us an idea of how deep we can build these. You know, before they start completely clearing the belts to where there is no iron supply, because then there's no sense going any further than that, because of course they're not gonna oops, there we go. All right, boo doo doo. All right, let's go on up here and look. All right, we got it here, we got it here. Takes a little while, but we got it there, we got it there. So we've got it all the way up that far, and it's already starting to stack up. So we could even go farther, right? Yeah, we could go farther. That's how many right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we could potentially go out, and you know, I don't know how far we could go with steel versus iron. But we can definitely go that far and more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we could probably go, I would say, at least 10 in a row, right? So if we, and then we could go side to side to side on this. So if we were to do this, and we were to say, make a scream at it that does 5 at a time, right? Then we could branch it up and go from there, and check it out. So let's try that. Let's start with, let's make a blueprint with 5, and then we'll tile it up 15, and then we can tile it, because the other thing we can do with this now that we've got this blueprint is we can do them side by side. So let's grab a print of 5. Yeah. Get through all these researches. So we're going to grab a blueprint, and we are going to, well, actually, first thing we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to put that up there. We're going to get that out of our way so that we don't make a mistake on which one is the right one, which one is the wrong one. And we're going to go 1, 2. Actually, you know what? We're going to go from this end because we want the underground belts in our tileable, and then at the end we'll add the extra belts that we want to use. So 1, 2, 3. Saving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to go to right here. So let's pick off everything to right there, shall we? And that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That ends with an underground. That ends with the inserters. That should be everything, right? So there we go. So now let's clean up our mess. We don't want to grab too many at a time because we don't want the other robots grabbing at our stuff. And the cool thing about this is if this works properly, that we can use this for copper, steel, iron the whole shebang. Now how much do we got in here? Any of these? There's not too much. Okay, we can probably carry all of that. Ah, you bastards. Give me that back. See, because we don't have any chests up here for them to put anything in. So the problem we have is that they got nowhere to go with it. So let's put a chest down over here that we can. We'll put this stuff in the chest, and then that way we can pick this mess up. All right, there we go. So now we ought to be able to pick this stuff up. Without them coming down to steal it. There we go. All right, so we'll put all this iron in this chest here. We put that in there. Let's put the concrete in there, get that out of our way. We don't need the coal. We don't need the train right now. We were using the train to go back and forth to bring supplies up here. Yeah, so that should be everything. All right, so now we have that blueprint. So let's do this. And because everything is going to be coming in from over here, right, and going and coming in over here, let's do this. Let's put this way. And let's see if this will fit between substations. So if we bump it right against the substation, and I'm hoping this works. Wait a minute, why is there... Oh, okay. We're all right. All right, so let's bump it against the substation. And can we tile it? So we can tile it that way too. All right, and it will fit. And it looks like it will fit nicely between two rows of substations with one row of space. So that's nice. So then we can just tile the. All right, we're going to stop that for now. We're going to tile. We can tile these up. So there's that's 2 is 10. Well, not really 10 because it's we're losing 1 each time. So it's actually a 5 for the first one, 4 and 4. So it's 13. So if we just do this, that should be 14, 15, right? So let's count this. That should give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now I'm curious to see if it will let it go, if it will go farther than that or not. So I'm gonna put down another. I want to see where it clears out the belt. I want to see where the belt is completely empty. So we're just gonna lay them out here as far as we can go, I think, just to see. I want to see just how far we can push our luck. Now we've run out of speed modules and stuff, but what we can do is, because we've got 2 sets of them over here, right? And we're not really using these ones. We just put them down to see if we could do it. We could do this. And then these guys should take these extra speed modules and whatnot and put them down here where they need to go. Hopefully we have enough that we can do this whole length. I hope, come on, autosave. Oh, and I missed a couple actually. Oh, of course, and you picked up the concrete and not the... I have to remember that when I'm picking this stuff up to surround it, not just click on it, because if you just click on it, sometimes it thinks you're clicking on the concrete as opposed to clicking on what you actually want. All right, it looks to me at this point like we got all of them that we wanted. So let's pick these up, right? Now I wonder, do we have enough? Because like I say, we could put another beacon theoretically right here. It's only going to change the speed of the one, but you know, why not, right? And we could probably put more than one, because we could, if we put one there, does that, I guess that does kind of touch. This one doesn't though, but those two do. So we could, we only got one more, well, that's life. We could do that and fill them all, and then that would in theory do that, right? Now, of course, we're going to have a lot of iron come out of here. We're going to need a place for it to go. So, right? All right. And then we're going to have a bunch of iron coming in. I want to see what the length, what the reach on this is, because I don't offhand remember. All right. So right there, right? So if we go here to here, we pick this one up. Now we have a reference point. All right, right. And then we can do the same thing again. Oops. And then we go here to here, pick this one up. And then we should be able to one off figures. All right, so that should, in theory, give us enough chests to keep up for long enough to do what we need to do, which is to test this and see exactly how it's going to play out as far as a saturated belt, and how far a saturated belt is going to go. Do we have some more over here? If we don't, we have stack inserters. We can do stack inserters. We can do half of it in stack inserters and half of it in regular. So we got enough. Okay, cool. And nice thing is having substations. We don't have to fart around with poles. There we go. So that should give us everything coming in. Let's go down here and replace those belts, or those undergrounds, with belts. Not that we need to, like I said before, but I just like being able to see it. It's nice to have that visual. So there, there, and there, right? Okay, I think we're ready. So now what we're going to do, since we've got this ready-made iron ore supply sitting right here, we are going to, although it's petering out a little bit, but we'll make it work, because what we'll do is we'll pull it off of this one. We will pull it off of this one, and we will do this right here. And we'll do this right here, right? So now we just need to bring them down here, and hook them up. So that gives us an idea of where we're going. All right. And then just to be fair, what we will do is we will give it the opportunity to fill itself up before we connect it. Oops. Right? So there we go. So now we have, should be full belts all the way down to there, right? Yeah. All right. So now we should have plenty of ore on these lines to test this sucker. Now I think what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to wait until dawn. It's not that far away because we're losing brightness. How is our electrical power looking? Not too bad. We'll wait till dawn for this. So that way we have the solar panels, we have the steam engines, and we have the fusion reactor that can all throw power into this in case we need the power. We don't want to brown things out inadvertently while we're at it and cause ourselves a power outage. But I think this is going to be interesting to see, because if we can do this, then we can double this up and have 2 lanes like this for iron, and 2 lanes like this for copper, and 2 lanes like this for steel. And yeah, I think that'll be... So what we would probably do is we'd do 2 lanes like this for iron, 2 lanes like this for iron running into the steel, and then have 2 lanes like this for the steel, and then 2 lanes like this for the copper. So we would have 4 lanes total for the iron, but 2 of them would be feeding steel and the rest would be feeding iron. And see how this goes. And I'm curious to see if we get ore all the way up here. And if we get ore all the way up here, I wonder just how far we could go before we stopped getting any ore come up the belts. I'm really interested to see how far we can make it. So starting to brighten up. We're at 50% brightness. We'll let it get to about 80%, and then we'll open her up. And I'm hoping that these chests will be able to keep up with the output enough that we don't start backing the iron up. You know what? Let's put a couple more in. We have the room for them. Let's put them in if we have more. Do we have any more chests over here? I thought we did, but maybe we don't. No, but we have these ones that aren't being used that we can pick up. And we have some steel plate. So if we had to, we could make some more, right? Real quick. 1, 2, 3. So we need 2 more, right? 1, 2. All right, there we go. And hopefully that will keep up with it. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. I mean, that'll give us a pretty good indication of just how things are going. All right, we have 100% brightness. Let's go ahead and see just how much we can stress this whole thing. So it's coming up, coming up, coming up. All right, there we go. They're sticking in. Did we mess something up? What's... Oh, shit. Okay. Excuse my language. I don't know if you see what's going wrong here. We screwed up. There's no underground going up to the next one. So we'll let this wear itself out. We'll take this stuff out, and then we'll put it back in and fix it. So we'll take this out. Right, there we go. And then we'll fix this. We screwed up. All right, so what we need to be doing, right, is we need here to here. We need here to here and here to here, right? And then we need to go there and there. So that's hooked up. We'll put this back, and that will fill up that underground. And then if we put in our output underground, right? Alright, so we put in here, and we put in there, and we let them go. Alright, here we go. Alright, so we're all the way up here. We're here. We're here. Alright, we're up. Up. Man, look at that. Go, baby, go. We're starting to see a little slowdown on a. Wait, you know what? It made it all the way up there. It made it all the way up there, and we're not backing up on iron, I don't think. Are we backing up on iron? Is that why it's slowing down, because it can't get it out? Yeah, it can't put it out. That's why. And part of the problem is we're only single belt. We're only single side of the belt on putting it out. But I have an idea for that. I like this though. I think this will work. The one thing I do need to do is I need to even out the belts, because if this would put on both sides, we'd be much better off. I need to think about this for a minute, and what I need to do, I think, is there is a mod, I ran across it, that will allow you to tell the inserters which side of the belt to put it on. So if we did that and we put that mod in here and we used every other inserter goes to the left or the right side of the belt, then that would solve that problem, because it would balance itself out. You'd be putting it on both sides. I also saw somebody who was doing it in such a way that they had they had an inserter, and then that inserter was feeding a belt, or not the inserter, splitter was feeding a belt, and then by putting the inserter into the splitter, it was somehow balancing it out. I seem to remember something like that, but I don't know that we could fit that in here. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to add that mod that allows me to decide which side of the belt the inserters place on. So let me do this. Since we already got all that iron in the system all the way up to there, let's break this here. I'm going to go up. Do I have enough room? Yeah, I'm going to go up here and see how much of this iron we can pull off of here. And we'll shut this down, and then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pause the video. I'm going to go find that mod. We'll add that mod to this, and then we will go from there. Because I'm really curious to see if that solves our problem with regards to it only inserting on one side of the belt. Okay, that one's emptied. Alright, is that? No, not quite. Come on. We should be about empty at this point. There it is. Okay, so all of the belts are empty. So I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to go grab this mod. I'm going to put it in. We'll see how that works, and what we need to do to control it, and we'll be back. So give me just a second, guys. I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. So the mod I was looking for is called side inserters. If this works out, I'll put a link down in the bottom. But my understanding is that what we can do is, and there's a bunch of different controls, but for what we're looking for, if we hover over an inserter and we hit Control, Shift, and F, it will move it to the other side. It will move it to the middle, to the left, to the right, etc. So if we were to go and every other inserter, okay, so that's left, that's right, that would make this one left. Control Shift F, right, and then right, left, okay, and then right, left, and notice the arrow moves so you know where it's at. So right, left, right, Control left. I wonder, let's try something. So if we shift right click and shift left click, yes, it will. Okay, even better, because now we can copy and paste it to every other one. Alright, so there we go. So now it should fill both sides of the belt fairly evenly. So let's try this again. If this works, Bob is a happy camper. So here we go. So it should be coming up. There we go. It's going in, it's going out. We're seeing it on both sides. So it shouldn't be backing up now. How far up can we get? There it is. There it is. So we're starting to see a bounce. It's going to make it all the way to the end again. All right, so there we go. So that will make it all the way to the end. And now we're not as backed up down here. Yes, we're still getting some backup. Yeah, we're still getting belt saturation, but we're getting saturation on both sides. And it's not that the inserters are not being able to clear the belt fast enough, because if that were the case, we'd start getting back up on here, and we're not. So we are sucking them off of that belt as fast as we possibly can, as fast as the belt will carry them. And that's quite a few furnaces going to town. And look how fast we got them going now, man. We're pumping out some serious iron at this point. So let's do a little experimentation here. Since we've made all this iron, let's cut this belt off. Okay. Now let's move this out of our way. When we get this all cleared out of iron off of this belt, what we're going to do is we're going to set it up so that these inserters that have got these chests now put this iron on belts, and we'll feed the iron back in. We'll see how it does with steel. I'm curious to see whether we can saturate this thing with steel with this many furnaces or not, and just how quickly it'll make steel, because that's kind of the determining factor, because we know steel takes longer to smelt. Alright, so we are emptied out on our belts at this point. So let's do this. Let's break this here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to wait for all of this iron to finish, and we're going to bring belts down here and into there from both sides. Like that. So let's break these for now. Oops. I don't want to break it there. I want to break it here. That way we don't have any problems with redirecting it. How are we doing on iron in these? Oh yeah, they're filling up nicely. So we should be just about out, I would think. Yeah, we're running down. All of these have stopped producing. We're probably on the last few. That one just stopped. That one stopped. We're down to here. Yeah, we're just about out of ore on the belts. Okay, looks like that's the last of the ore on the belts. There we go. Alright, so let's pick these ones up, because we don't want it coming down and picking it up and putting it back in the chest that we're using now. Now it'll go down here and these chests will pick it up. So let's put it here. And let's do the same thing with these that we did with the ones up there. So far side, well, let's do far side. Okay, that does left and right. What does near and far is, let me see. Toggle the inserters on the near far side of a transport belt. Control, okay, so Control F is near and far. So F, Control F is near, near, near. So you got near, far, near, far, near, far, near, far, right? Nice. So Control F, F, F. All right, so in theory, it'll keep a pretty even belt. I really like that, just in general. Man, that, because I never really did like how it ends up stacking on one side. And then you got to figure out ways to work around it. So this is going to be nice. All right, so are we ready? Let's give this the good old college try here. Of course, it saves right then. Sucker. Alright, so there we go. It's feeding up, feeding up, feeding up still. We're still feeding up. Alright, we're still seeing it come up. Up, we're here. Now we're inserting here. We're inserting here. We're inserting here. Alright, so we're all the way up into this area here now. So I thought we were going to run out. I thought it was going to stop right there. Looks like this may be it, right in this area. Maybe it's going to make a liar out of me. Every once in a while it's got one come in here. So right around this area, it looks like, is where we're hitting the end of our abilities. So we're going to mark that, just to mark it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last 4 really weren't doing much. Let's see how this looks down here, though. Let's see how fast we're getting this out. That's a lot faster than what we would be getting it on our other production. As long as our iron input, and that's part of why that slowed down, I'm sure. As long as our iron input keeps up, I think our output, because it's not waiting at all. It's got it filled. It's not waiting at all, and it's putting it out pretty darn quickly. So I think that this is going to work pretty nice. Excuse me there. I kind of like this. I think it's going to work well. So what we're going to have to do, and I know that's a lot of beacons and a lot of, you know, but the thing is, once we've paid for them, once we've got them built, they're built. We're not paying for them each time we use them. So we can pump a lot of ore through here. And just imagine if we had 2 lines going instead of just the 1 line going. So I'm going to return this stuff to the, you know what? Nah, I don't think we really need to. I think we're okay with what we're going to be supplying for other stuff. The one thing I did not look at was what it did to our power during that time frame. So let's see. Green is our furnaces. So let's turn off. Well, we want the beacons. We don't want our assemblers. Oops. We want our furnaces. We want our beacons. We want our inserters. And I think that is really everything that would be going. Our mines are going regardless. So there it is. Let's see how that's looking. Yeah, you can see where we turned it on. And we definitely bumped up, but not so much that we couldn't handle it. And it looks like our day-night cycles are pretty steady. Although at night it looks like we are getting a draw on all three items. We're using our accumulators, we're using our steam engines, and we are using our our fusion reactor. So we're pulling off of the accumulators a little bit because of that. So with 3 or 4 rows of those going, it's gonna really tax our system. We're gonna have to step up our game on power to throughout for the night, which means a crap ton more accumulators or nuclear power. But that's okay because we've researched nuclear power. We can start producing nuclear power, and I think we'll be okay to meet our demands. But boy, is that gonna put a load on the system, I think. But that's a good thing. I think it's going to be to our benefit to be able to do that, because I mean that's producing like mad. I'm real happy with that. All right, guys. So I'm going to call this episode here. We know it's going to work. We just need to start gathering the materials for it and getting it all set up. And we know we'll be able to put it between the substations, all the way down all the way down these rows. We may skip this row because of the robo ports. We'll figure it out. We may go this row, this row, this row, skip a row in this row if we have to. So that would be iron, steel, copper, or copper. And that will give us all of the processing we need, and then we can start shipping that stuff out on trains in mass, in better stack, in bigger stacks than shipping the ore down to where we're at. So, all right, guys. So there we go. Like I say, the name of this this new mod is called Side Inserters, and I will put that down in the doobly-doo so that you guys can check it out. All right, you guys have a good day. I hope you got something out of this. You guys know the deal with the buttons. I'm not going to tell you. So I will talk to you later. All right, bye.